Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all right. In this lesson, we are going to further our understanding on what it takes to be a good manager and what are the different roles that everyone has to perform in order to fulfill the expectations the job has from them. And this theory was developed by a guy called Henry Fayol. I hope I'm saying his name right. And our discussion is going to be then called Henry Fayol's management theory. Now, of course, managers are there to look over the other employees of any business, and their job will then, of course, entail things that have to do with dealing with other workers, at the same time planning the workflows and making sure that they're also performing their jobs right. So his theory is going to focus on the role of managers and what are they expected to do exactly in their particular roles. And there are two sides to his theory, one of which is all about the planning process. What are the tasks that need to be completed? What are the department's responsibilities? What are the individual employees' responsibilities who are reporting to these managers? So part of it is that, and the other part of it will talk about how the managers should be interacting with their employees. So there's two clear parts where planning and employee interaction are key components of his theory. And he divided his theory into five basic functions of management to begin with, and they are planning, controlling, organizing, coordinating, and commanding. So the first three here, planning, controlling, organizing, is all about getting the workflows right, getting the tasks in order, making sure that everybody knows what they have to do for the business. The other two, coordinating, commanding, are more about the employee interaction part. So we're going to look at 14 further subtopics that he introduced within these five headings. So here are the 14 principles that collectively make up Mr. Fayol's management theory. And he divides his planning and employee interaction part into these 14, and he gives them various categories, various names through which we'll be able to recognize them more easily. And of course, I will recommend that you remember this entire theory by the names of these 14 principles because you may be asked to explain them directly. So the first thing that Mr. Fayol had to say about his management theory was that you have to have people who are specialists in their job. The more specialization that you have in your business, the more efficient the production process and any other process is going to be. Secondly, he wants that similar functions should have one manager. So for example, operations means you have to produce as well as order the inventory. So they seem like very similar jobs, or at least one that is related to the other one very closely. So if they're quite similar functions, like raw materials directly linked with the production process, they must be looked at by the same manager so that they have a holistic view of the whole situation. Thirdly, you must have workers who are ready to work obediently. So, what the bosses ask them to do, they must believe that they have the right interest in the mind of the workers as well as the company, and therefore they should obey the instructions coming from the higher ups. Number four is that managers should feel that they have the authority to take actions. Right? They shouldn't feel like they're simply being pushed around and told what to do, and they're not being given an opportunity to express themselves. So, if managers feels very strongly about any particular situation and he wants to take a decision, then the management should stand by them. That's authority. Number five is command, which is where all employees should ideally have just one boss. Reporting to multiple bosses means they first have to make sure that they're spending twice the amount of time to pleasing both the jobs, both the bosses. It just will eventually end up taking a toll answering to two different people. So, to have them focus on one thing and do things more efficiently, give them one direct boss only. Number six is centralization, which is where the idea is that the major decisions should be taken by the main manager, the top guy in the company, and it shouldn't be dispersed. The decision making process should not be decentralized, it should be centralized, meaning it should be in the hands of the few. These are generally the managers who are more skilled and more experienced in the organization. And lastly, remuneration, which is just another fancy name for payments, and all staff should be rewarded fairly. That means according to the amount of work or the amount of productivity they're bringing to the business. If there'll be fairness in payments, then of course workers will feel a little better about the whole situation and feel more motivated, of course. We move on to number 8, which talks about subordination, which is putting the company's interests above the individual interests. So, do things that are good for the entire company, even if that means having to travel a longer distance because the work has been relocated to a further place from your home. That's fine if it's better for the company, if it means the suppliers can get there, if it means the customers can get there, then perhaps that decision should be taken above the individual's interest. Number 9 is initiative. All workers should be encouraged to be bold and take initiative, make decisions, be innovative, and back themselves up. So if you have an idea, if you feel that you have to go ahead with it, and you don't, and you feel that you will be pulled back by the boss you are reporting to, perhaps you should give them the chance to take the initiative and go for it. And if if you're taking the initiative, if you're being innovative, chances are you might find success very soon. Number 10 is order. Employees should have the necessary resources. Now, I can't ask my sales guys to go and double the sales without giving them the right tools. For example, more ads on the TV, maybe the chance or the opportunity for them to offer discounts to the customers. So, without those tools, they will not be able to fulfill their objectives. The right resources must be made available. Number 11 is esprit de corps, which simply says you should encourage good morale and teamwork. Be a good leader, be a good boss, include everyone. Formally or informally, you should have a good relationship with all your subordinates. Number 12 is stability, which says that right employees should be given the right opportunities in the organization. So if someone has proven themselves to be a good manager, perhaps giving them the opportunity at the right time will be a good thing. Number 13 is scalar chain, which is that there should be a clear organizational structure. There should be a clearly identified CEO, people who are reporting to him, the next tier who are the managers and supervisors and the workers. Everyone's role should be clearly identified in the overall organizational structure. And lastly, equity. Managers should treat everyone equally, and this is something that we build on from the equality policy that all HR departments will have in the organization. So, as you can see, Mr. Fayol's theory is a combination of these 14 principles. And collectively, these are all the things that as a manager you should be ready to practice in terms of planning the process, executing the job, as well as how you deal with your employees or your subordinates.